Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Alright, getting started a little bit later tonight, but...
Sorry, we had a little bit of friend drama.
Yeah, friend drama, you know, when you've just got to be there for your friend when shit's going down. Yeah. So look, I'm not one to gossip and stuff like that, but put it this way, a friend of ours is going through a bit of shit right now, and most of our afternoon / evening has been chewed up with that. So that's all good. Everything's as good as it can be, I guess, given all the circumstances. But anyway, here we are. Tonight we're building Marissa's PC. So yeah, let's get stuck right into it, I guess. So I'll go through the specs here. Basically, it's an i7-12700KF with an RTX 3080, similar to the RTX 3080 in the PC from the other night. So yeah, it's the exact same card, so a bit of deja vu there, but it's just a really good value card right now. Excellent price to performance. You really can't go wrong with it. So anyway, so the full specs is the i7-12700KF, the Aorus B660M Pro AX DDR4 motherboard. We've got a Silicon Power 1TB NVMe SSD with a 5-year warranty. We've also got 32GB of Corsair Vengeance RGB memory. We've got a Gigabyte P850GM power supply there. So this is the unit. It's got a 5-year warranty. It's 80 plus gold rated, and it's nearly $50 cheaper than the next equivalent power supply that has the same sort of specs and stuff like that. So it's a really good value power supply, and there's a reason why it's such a good value power supply right now. So basically what the deal is, because I'm gonna bring this up because it was brought up by the customer. They were a little bit sketchy on this power supply because they'd seen stuff online about it, about them blowing up and all that. Anyway, that whole issue with these power supplies blowing up, the whole incident blew up, excuse the pun. So essentially what happened was there was a batch issue, and then there was a YouTuber who basically did a whole big takedown of it, like ripping all this shit on them, calling them out for having faulty power supplies and blah blah blah, and he made this big deal about it and got a lot of press, and it got to the point where these power supplies are sold all around the world. This is a batch issue that was limited to North America, but because of the power of YouTube, it went global, and it caused Gigabyte to actually add an extra 2 years warranty to all of their power supplies, and also reduce the price by 33%. So that's a solid fight back from Gigabyte, in my opinion. That is the sort of thing that makes you completely overlook stuff in the past and go, okay, this is actually a good quality product. A corporation can't offer 5-year warranties on things that fuck up all the time. That's just an easy way to absolutely destroy yourself in terms of selling a product. Yeah, easy way to lose big bucks really quickly and do a shitload of reputational damage, and they're not going to do that. So anyway, these power supplies here, if you buy them in Australia, absolutely, there hasn't been any issues with any of the ones in Australia. Whether you bought it when it still only had a 3-year warranty, or you've got it now when it's got the 5-year warranty, there hasn't been any issue with the ones in Australia. So Don't ever worry about it. You'll see me use them all the time. I'm not in the business of putting in power supplies that blow up on people because that means they come back to me and it's more work for me. And like I would go broke if I had to keep repairing people's PCs for free as well. So I'd get nothing done. Then I'd make no money. And yeah.
Simon says, hi mate, how are you?
Hey Simon, how you going? Good to have you with us.
Tim says, hi Tim and Christine, how are you going?
Hey Tim, how you going? Good to have you with us. Sorry about the bit of a sidetrack there. I thought I'd explain that a little bit more in depth because like I did obviously sort of say all this essentially to the customer, but when she actually watches through, she'll get a little bit more of an explanation there of what the deal is with them. So yeah, I don't have I've sold hundreds of these things and I haven't had any of them come back. So over years that I've been selling them, I've had none of them come back. Then like when the issue was announced with these that Gamers Nexus covered, when that happened, I was like, what the fuck? They're like decent quality power supplies. I use them all the time. And then one of the first things I did was I went and sent a message to my good friend Isaac at Titan Tech down in Sydney, and I said, hey mate, these power supplies, do you use them? And he goes, yeah mate, yeah, all the time. And I go, do you get any come back? He's like, I've literally had no returns. And I mean, that just goes to show Titan Tech sells a lot more than I do. So when I go and check with one of my friends who runs a business like that, I can see whether it's just my relatively small sample size that's clouding my judgment, or whether it's legit and there's no issue with these things in Australia.
Marissa says, hi Tim, thanks for clarifying for me.
Nah, that's fine. That's fine. I know a lot about the controversy here with these power supplies, and because I use them all the time, I know all about it. And yeah, like I said, we wouldn't be using them if we thought that they were gonna like die on people. Like I'm selling when I include one of these power supplies. It's because I want to bring the PC as close to 5-year warranty as I can for the customer. I can't offer more than 3 on certain things because that's all the manufacturer warrants it for. So the CPU, the motherboard, the graphics card, usually most hard drives are only 2 or 3 year warranties. So all that sort of main stuff there, that's 3 years, and we're sort of stuck at 3 years. But when it comes to SSDs, when it comes to the RAM, when it comes to the power supplies, when it comes to the all-in-one liquid coolers and stuff, those products there, we can go and choose ones with a higher warranty, so we can give you that longer warranty period on those components. But then, like, for anyone, if your graphics card decides to just die for no particular reason 3 years and 6 months in, unfortunately there's just nothing anyone can do about that. I think Gigabyte do have some extended warranty program or something that I've seen on some of their cards. Yeah, it's an extended warranty, you know. Yeah. Hey Fëanor, how you going?
Late start tonight.
Yeah, a bit of a late start. I've had
We had some shit go down with the
friends. You know when you gotta be there for a friend when shit's going down and they're breaking up with their partner and just shit's going down.
police are being called.
Yeah, police are there and it's just good to have another witness there to what goes on, right? So yeah, that's been our day and night. So that's why I'm starting a little bit later tonight.
So,
Yeah.
Miss Salt says, hi Tim, quick question, can you put a GPU in a laptop?
Can you put a GPU in a laptop? No, sorry. So laptops are sort of, they're pre-built packages that are built sort of as is. They're not really upgradable. They're not modular and stuff. It's not the same as a desktop. Also, a lot of people don't understand that even though the laptop and the desktop have similar sounding part names, like an i7 CPU in there and 16 gigabytes of RAM or something like that, you need to understand that all the laptop parts aren't actually the same parts that go into the desktops. They're cut down, low-powered versions of their desktop equivalents. The engineers basically design these things around getting battery life out of the units and stuff like that. So it's all about efficiency. So they sacrifice power and performance for efficiency. And that's what you get when you get a laptop. So a gaming laptop it's like an oxymoron, because a laptop is meant to be low powered, energy efficient, and like perform well for what it is. But it's not meant to be high powered at all. So yeah, that's the thing. So don't ever think that if you're buying a laptop or a desktop, they're interchangeable sort of thing. They're not, even though they both run Windows. So anyway, I've rambled on enough here tonight. I think it's time. I think it's time to start this build. Hey, Mr. Walshy, how you going? Good to have you here. Now, I don't think. Yep, we are now officially at the generation where there are no more DVDs included with new motherboards to install software. So we are finally there. If you're wondering when that day was going to come, when there was no more CDs in the motherboard boxes. I've noticed it on some of the Z690 boards as well, but I thought that was kind of to be expected to be seen on the Z series chipset boards more. I think it's a bit more of an indicator when the 660 chipset boards aren't coming with DVDs anymore. Sorry, I almost really stuffed up what I said then. Almost said like motherboards coming with the motherboard. I've had a long day. Alrighty, so what do we get? What do we get on this board? This is quite a good little motherboard here, and I'll point out why. So we've got 12 pins of CPU power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fan headers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 RGB headers. We've got USB-C, USB 3, 4 horizontally orientated. Let me try that one again. 4 horizontally orientated SATA ports. I was looking at the Thunderbolt headers that are down here. You don't see them on every board. That's more of a high-end feature, but obviously coming down on the 660 chipset now, as to be expected. Other than that, yeah, dual USB 2s there. Still got COM port there hanging around. Dual M2 slots. And that's all the main features there. But as you can see, pretty good. Like, you could, I remember Marissa was a little bit worried about going 660 over Z690. And I sort of said to her, I'm like, look, the differences between the two, a lot of the features and stuff that are sort of different between the two chipsets are features that you normally only sort of get into if you're an enthusiast. There's stuff in the BIOS there that's unlocked that you can mess around with and overclock and do all that. Whereas the 660 chipset, especially when we put a K series chip in there, because that's the thing to consider as well, is you have an Intel K series chip there, which is unlocked and overclockable, but I have this exact same CPU in my personal rig. It's a daily driver. I use it every day. I do all sorts of stuff on it, and I'll tell you that even if you do overclock it, you basically have pretty much no overclocking headroom, just based on how hard this thing is tuned from factory. So for the average person, it's a good thing. It means that they can just drop this CPU in, put a good cooler with it, and they're going to get, it's like they've got an overclocked CPU straight out of the box. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And yeah, no issues with power delivery there for the CPU. I mean, 12 pins, like,
She's asleep, mate. It's okay.
12 pins is a lot of juice for a CPU.
Tim Moon's, I call him, oh, he's so scared.
Yeah, I know. He's a cat.
Tim, oh, you're doing it now. Fiona said, hurry up and open that GPU box so I can offer you $800 reviews for it. Now it's second hand.
$800 redos. Yes. Yes. Alrighty.
Tim?
Yeah.
Mr. Walsh, she says, I have 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM and I want to go to 32. I have G-Skills Sniper 3600 and they don't make it anymore. Can I use different kit of 16 RAM 3600?
Oh, yeah. So,
just buy 32 new.
so the thing is, right? You may or may it's a case of a little bit of a case of lottery. You can consider it like that. You could look into all the detailed specs of the memory and find some that should be compatible. But, you know, you could also just, like, luck of the draw, give it a go. But the safest bet, if you want to take all that out of it, would just be to sell the 16 gigabyte kit that you've got on its own, as is, and then replace with a brand new kit of 32. Or 2 compatible 16 gigabyte kits. Alrighty. So we've got to be careful when we install our Intel CPUs. All the pins are in the socket there, so don't drop your CPU in the socket there. It's an easy way to have the retailer that you purchased the motherboard turn around to you and go, ha, it's too bad, so sad. You're not meant to drop that in there. Yeah, like they won't be interested in giving you a refund for things like that. So if I say be careful doing that, I mean it. Alrighty, and so our M2 NVMe SSD. This is a silicon power one. All of the, if you stick with Samsung, Crucial, Western Digital, and Silicon Power, you'll get 5-year warranties on your M2 NVMe SSDs these days. So you don't. It's not just Samsung that offers the 5-year warranties. Oh, I have the wrong size screwdriver on for this. So yeah, it's good. It's good buying something like an SSD and getting, you know, a 5-year warranty. Obviously, if you like used it in such a way that's essentially like abuse or like commercial use or something like that, things like that will void your warranty. But if you're just an ordinary user at home, like running games and just basic ordinary normal person stuff, you're never gonna push that SSD in such a way that would void the warranty. So you can be confident that your SSD will last for 5 years, and if it does happen to die, you'll get a new one. So that's always fun. Alrighty, so we've got our memory here. So memory, as I always say, very, very important. What's up?
Patrick Patrick with his dad.
Patrick with his dad joke. Let me finish what I'm doing here with the RAM. I was going to say, it's very, very important because you're basically adding expandable memory to your CPU, because your CPU has a little bit of memory actually on the actual CPU itself. But in order to run apps and games, you need to add additional memory.
You ready now?
Yeah. So what's Patrick's dad joke?
My friend keeps saying, cheer up, mate. You could be worse. You could be stuck underground in a hole full of water. I know he means well.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll give it that. That's all right. Okay. So very important, our memory. And that's why it's always located right up next to the CPU. The two things are joined at the hip. You don't necessarily need anything else plugged in to the motherboard to make it do something. But you do need the CPU, and you do need at least one stick of memory. Even if it's like 1 gigabyte, you need just something in there. Something as your memory. Alrighty, so this little Corsair cooler that we've got here is the H100. It is a 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler. And like all Corsair coolers, it comes with a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. So that is always preferable because it means you don't have to worry about your CPU cooler. It means you can just forget about it and just wait. And if it happens to die within 5 years, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because then you get a whole new Corsair cooler with a brand new 5-year warranty and it'll last you another 5 years. So, yeah. Definitely worth it. If you're on a budget, yeah, there are like decent quality coolers that have like 2-year warranties that you can get. But obviously, if you've got the extra $100, spend the extra $100 on the cooler and get a Corsair or one of the other brands that offer 5-year plus warranties. Alrighty.
Wait, Gabe.
Yeah.
There's Susan Wisdom for
Who?
Haley.
Haley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Poor thing had a pretty fucked up day. She was like, oh yeah, I'll go for a hike with my friends before my plane flight back to Brisbane. Rolled her ankle and had to hobble and was like
Oh.
late and covered in leeches.
Oh,
But she made it. She made it.
fucking hell.
She did the Great North Walk. It's, near Sydney.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know.
Pretty sure we've driven through there. It looks familiar.
Oh, could be fucking anywhere, man. I don't know Sydney surrounding areas well enough to tell a rural photo from any other rural area on the East Coast. Alright. So we just need these little feeties that screw into the back plate.
just outside Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to the north. It's like just before you go across that first, the Hawkesbury River. It's just before that.
Ah, okay. It is up. It is up there, right? Okay, so we've got pre-applied thermal compound here on these Corsair coolers. Just before anyone says, "Oh, Tim, you forgot the thermal compound." Trust me, when you do what I do, you're never in the business of forgetting things like that, because it's so annoying to have to actually like pull a whole PC apart because you forgot something so important like that. Alright, so we just got our fans to hook up to our radiator. Just consider which way you're going to be mounting it inside your case before you tie your fans down. Alright. So one thing about this case, we will have an included Corsair controller, but we do have to use the Commander Pro that comes with it. Alright, just get rid of these cable ties. Alright. Okay, so all that's prepped and ready to go. We can turn our attention now to the case.
No, you can't come in, girl. It's alright.
Okay. Look at this thick book they give you for this case.
So
Yeah.
Marissa's, but you could do these blindfolded. Looking forward to getting my hands on this.
I don't know if I could do them blindfolded. I probably could, but that doesn't sound like fun.
Tim,
Yeah.
Fiona says, did you hear Elton John got a treadmill for his pet rabbit? It's a little fit bunny. Baking not baking says this is gonna look mean.
Oh yeah, this will be beauty. Alright, so I'm just going to put a couple of screws in our hard drive here. Alrighty. So our hard drive's all sorted there. There's our included controller. Like I said, we'll probably leave it. I mean, I don't have any other USB 2 to hook up, so they'll just be the two, which will be fine. So I'll leave it as is. And anything else I need to point out around the back? No, not really. Alright, power supply time. Almost said hard drive time again. But yes, me doing these live, you're going to see me like a little bit more tired some days than others. And other days I'll have more energy than others and stuff like that. And no, I don't just have an intermittent supply of crack cocaine or something like that. I just literally have lower energy some days than other days.
Well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Moon looks so depressed.
Alrighty, so we got this nice bit of plastic seal there over our connectors. Okay, so what cables do we need to install here? We need, for sure, our motherboard cable. We need, for sure, the CPU cable. We need at least one SATA power cable. We won't really need this old Molex and floppy cable. That's more of a legacy cable. I'm going to stick that in that tray just below the hard drive there. We got a secondary CPU power. Yeah, we've got the 12 pins for the CPU, so we may as well install it. Not that I recommend running more than 250 watts through that CPU. Like I got one personally. I wouldn't recommend it. It's more of a flex, the 12 pins there. Because each 8 pin can supply 250 watt, right? And you need a couple of VGA cables, that's for sure. 3080. The 3080 definitely uses more than 250 watts. Another SATA cable, I'm just going to leave that one down there with the Molex and floppy cable. There we go, they're all out of the way. And now we've got our cables. Alrighty, so you got 24 pins to the motherboard and you got 30 pins into the power supply there. So this particular design modular power supply have it so you can't really go wrong. There's only one place that fits a 20 pin and a 10 pin connector. These CPU and PCIe cables, these all fit into interchangeable sockets, so it doesn't matter which one we plug in, whether it's the CPU or the graphics card, they can go into any of the 8 pin connectors there on the back of this power supply. So the cables are directional, but you will have a hard time trying to plug them in the wrong way. And that should be the red flag when you're holding it right up like this and you're struggling to clip it in. It should just clip in really nicely. And once again, our SATA cables, it's just a 6 pin connection. And there's only one lot of 6 pin connectors on the back there, so you can't really go wrong. Okay, so we can slide our power supply in here. So a lot of people with power supplies get confused with the 80 plus rating and what it actually means and stuff like that. So we have a 80 plus gold power supply here tonight. Now the thing about 80 plus gold, what does that actually mean in terms of real world stuff? What it actually means is your power supply is 90% efficient at 10, 50 and 90 or 100% load. You might be thinking, what do I mean efficient? Well, the power supply for a computer is basically an AC to DC converter. So it takes AC power out of the wall at your house and turns it into DC power that the components of your computer use. So when we're talking about efficiency, we're talking about the efficiency of the conversion of AC to DC power. And that's what the 80 plus is actually rating. Yeah.
Chris says he was just thinking that you need some crack.
Oh man, yeah.
Totally.
I'm sure that'd go really well.
I don't know how well that would be. You'd be probably all over the place.
I'm all over the place enough as it is.
Yeah, you don't need that in your life.
No, I don't need that in my life.
Darren says hi from the UK.
Hey Darren, how you going? Alrighty. So everything's all good to go back here. We've got our power cables. We've got our front panel connection cables here. So yeah, let's look at getting this board inside the case. So we've got a pre-attached I/O shield there. And it looks like a bit of extra random plastic around the edge here. There we go. They don't have it all covered in. They don't have it like over everything. Just these little bits at the end for some reason. Maybe it's the factory that they buy them from or something. Okay. So I need to move a couple of offsets around here. This one will have to come up here. And there we go. Yeah.
Check this photo out. Somebody in Kansas was just mowing their yard, and a fucking fork came down and got a rat snake.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the coolest stuff I've seen with birds is, yeah, like once in a million viewing, eh?
Just let this person get right up to him while he's trying to kill a snake. And we've got some photos of the snake trying to defend itself. That's cool. Tim,
Yeah.
being honest, so what made you choose that GPU? Was it the customer's request, or do you think it's a good one?
Oh, I think it's good, man. It's good value. It's a GA102 GPU based graphics card for under $1,300. So if there's like a reality or something where that's like a bad deal, then yeah, I don't think I'm living in the same reality.
Darren says he's off for 3 days now.
Off for 3 days.
That's cool.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
And it's 12:30 p.m. So it's like
Middle of the day. Yep.
It's 9:20 here. So it's a bit late.
Okay, so I fed through the CPU power cables because once I mount the radiator, it's going to be very, very difficult to plug in these CPU power cables. As you can see, I'm sort of struggling enough as it is. Sorry, I'm just feeding through the Commander Pro, that chunky connector on the end. You know what I'm talking about? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Show everyone what I've been struggling with.
Oh my. She's on the phone.
I know. Okay. So this chunky connector is what I was trying to feed through back there. A little bit of a pain, but that's okay. Okay. So I don't think we need to hook anything else up at the top. I think everything can go, every fan can get hooked up through our Commander Pro. Yeah.
Darren says he was running a AORIS X570 AORIS Master RAM video. Awesome 9.
Oh, yep. Yeah, X570's had a while as the flagship motherboard for AMD. It's only now, very recently, gonna change. All right, so I'm just gonna chuck.
You can see the photo. And he's like, laying at my feet. Life is very stressful, isn't it?
All right. Yeah. Oh God.
$330 for them, though? I don't think so.
Okay. So where are we gonna mount our Commander Pro? Yeah. Yeah, we'll have room. We'll have room on the side there. So yeah, one tip with these, just don't like stick it down until you've got everything plugged into it. Okay, so these are the 3 fan cables. Okay. SATA power. Got a USB 2.0. Yeah.
In fairness, today I saw today the new 4090 Ti will be over 800 watt.
Yep.
Gonna need solar panels if you want to run those bad boys. He says, I hope you get to do a build with one 4000 series soon after they are released. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool actually.
Probably will. Probably will. Normally, yeah. Normally, right after new stuff launches, there's people straight away in my inbox wanting a PC build.
Yeah.
Normally, when there's something new, something like a new generation of card like that, yeah, normally it doesn't take long. Put it that way.
There's at least one person.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So, Marissa wants to know, do you think that 3000 series will drop in price when it's released?
Well, I don't think things are going to drop too much further than where they're currently at now. To be honest, I know it's not what everyone wants to hear, but I just don't think it's gonna. I just don't think it's going to drop further than that. See, what you got to remember is once they release the 40 series, like the 4080 and the 4090, they'll stop producing the 3090 and the 3080, right? The 30 series cards that'll hang around are like the GA104 cards, like the 3060 Ti, 3070, 3070 Ti, and obviously the 3060 and the 3050. So they're the ones that'll hang around, but I don't think they're going to drop too much more in price. There might be some clearances on 3080s and stuff like that as certain retailers go to like dump their stock. Yeah. But the thing is, what you got to remember is we're getting really good price to performance now compared to what it was like before COVID. People were spending like, $400, $500 on like a 1660 Super and like a 1660 Ti, and like what they get for $500 now is better than that. And yeah, like 2080 Ti, when that was a thing, that was all over $2,000 as well. Dollar dues, that is. So, yeah. Okay. So we've got our front panel audio, both our USB 2s and our front panel connections in place there. So we just got our USB-C and 3. Alrighty. Okay.
Tim,
Yeah.
Luke says, hey mate, how you going tonight?
Hey Luke, how you going? Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Bit of a crazy day, but we got there. Alrighty, so I'm just going to bunch up the excess cable length in the RGB cables there. So they're all in the same controller, so we'll bunch them together. So if we have to make any changes, we know exactly what we need to cut out.
Stay out of the water up at Scarborough.
Why? What's up?
Venomous sea snake was found at Margate.
Venomous sea snake at Margate. Okay.
Check it out.
I don't think they go swimming too often, to be honest.
They don't.
Okay. once again for our fan cables. So the RGB and fan cables are two separate circuits. And just so it's really clear, we've only got fans in one controller and the RGB in the other controller.
Oh no.
Yep.
Fiona says you should plant Christina in the hot seat for the build on the stream.
Yeah, I've always thought about doing that.
Put me to work, huh?
Yep, 100% put you to work. Sweet. Alright, what have we got? We got our USB-C and 3 cables. Where are our headers on this board? Refresh my memory. Okay.
Tim,
Yeah.
you may need to pull your pants up because Fiona likes your boxes.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. I'm Gen Y. I'm a skater.
Skater boys always have their pants down.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
It's what we do.
Okay.
It's what we do. Alrighty. It's all coming together for us now. So we need slots 1 and 2. Okay. I only have one screwdriver. What's up?
I was laughing at the
Yeah. No one photos showed me this cat.
There's a cat sitting outside the glass window, but the stuff is sitting in the box.
Yeah.
Not in the box.
Yeah. Schrodinger's cat. Probably butchered his name. But that's one of those concepts that people really sort of misunderstand. Because he's not actually talking about a real cat in a real box. Like his actual cat. I'm sure he actually had a cat, and I'm sure that he never put it in a box once. The point, the whole concept is meant to be a like a mental thing. It's the idea, it's the concept.
What the fuck? I'm so glad I'm part of the women watch group and still fucking somebody has some clothes and stolen off their clothesline this afternoon, and they literally stole like underwear as well.
Ugh. Can you imagine stealing someone else's underwear? Oh. Oh. Oh no.
They stole. It was the lady that stole the stuff too. They stole like bras and knickers and stuff.
Oh, that's actually sad. Because imagine how desperate you got to be to steal that. Oh.
But check out the car that was captured in CCTV. It's a really nice looking Golf.
Oh, fucking my god.
Oh no. What? I don't know what to say. Why would you do that? Oh, Mooney, it's okay. Get out of your bed. Lay on your bed. She doesn't know what to do.
No.
Mooney? Yeah. Oh, you're used to being an inside dog. That's what it is.
Yeah, 100%. That's one thing she'll have to adjust to.
You need to get her a kennel.
Okay, so we're looking pretty good around here. There's just one thing that we need to connect. We need to hook in a SATA data cable.
Oh, Mooney. Yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, the saddest thing in the world is hearing the dog whimper. I hate that sound. Oh, now she's scratching at the door. It's because she sees the cat.
Yeah, I know.
What cat? I want to play with it. Tim,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to know, what would you say is the best value Gen 4 NVMe SSD at the moment?
Best value Gen 4. God. Probably like for Gen 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, use the WD, was it SN750? They're generally pretty good price. So I would say personally for Gen 4, I would be looking at Crucial, Samsung, and WD. Because remember with Gen 4, none of them are like exceptionally good value. Okay. So I've plugged that SATA data cable in behind the graphics card there. A little bit awkward, but we got there in the end. Oh. I don't know how these cables get so wrapped around each other, right?
What's up?
I don't know how sometimes these cables get so wrapped around on each other. There's a cable I haven't picked up for days, and it had the mouse and keyboard of all things tangled up in it. Alrighty. Success. Alrighty. Okay, we can put on XMP. There's nothing else I really need to change here for now. Oh, sorry about that. So I'll enter product key later on. There we go. Alrighty. So you see how we didn't get any internet options showing up there? So that means it's not recognizing, Windows isn't recognizing the Wi-Fi driver for the motherboard. So I'll go plug an Ethernet cable in, and we're gonna get nothing. Don't worry, it doesn't take several minutes. Oh no, we are detecting our Ethernet. Look at that. Alright, let's tidy up a bit of this. So I didn't need my Wi-Fi dongle then. Okay. Let's get some other software loaded up. That looks like our graphics card driver. Alright. So put down some custom desktop icons so they don't make a mess of the place. We do have a WD hard drive, so I'll install Acronis for WD. It's really handy. Software that'll allow you to make copies of your drives. Subscription, but if you have WD, you can use it for free with WD drives. No AMD.
She's locked up here. She can't go down. Alright. No. Off. Down. Get down. Mum was calling me, so she had to pause on the fucking thing. I need to go do it.
You right, babe?
Yeah.
you just don't want to install, then alright, so we've got to set up our 2 terabyte SSD. Sorry, hard drive. An idiot. I called a hard drive an SSD. Alrighty, there we go.
So,
Yeah.
she's so pretty. Mr. Walsh is rude exhaust fan not necessary in a build.
It's not. It's not. I wouldn't say it's necessary. It looks more complete, but it's not completely essential. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a whole heap of open vent on the back here. So when it's closed up, you've got 3 fans on the front that are sucking in air. And so even if these 2 fans here aren't quite pushing out the same amount of air that's coming in, it'll just sort of flow out the back of the case there anyway. And so I'll run a stress test on it, and yeah, I don't foresee any problems with this hardware and this configuration. But yeah,
Oh, no
this
way.
case doesn't come with the extra fan. It's just has the 3 on the front. So, like, we can add the extra fan, it's no problem. Okay, we should be pretty much ready to do a restart. Whenever you're ready, App Center. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Back to Windows. Alright.
He's really lovely.
Big cat. Yeah, of course he's not. Alrighty. Sweet as. So let's see what she can do. Alrighty. So if you want to know what this CPU can do, that full bar means it's off the charts. Alright, we can go submit and compare. Alrighty. So that's where the 12700KF sits. It's safely ahead of the pack. And multi-core, as you can see, smashing the previous generation's 20-core i9. And we've got the i7. And so, in fact, it not only smashes all the 20-thread CPUs, it keeps up with the 24-thread Ryzen 9 5900X. Don't worry about these. These are high-end desktop CPUs. They're worth $5,000 a pop. Normal people don't buy them. These are the CPUs that people buy. Alright, let's open up hardware monitor. Let's set up MSI Afterburner. So this here lets you adjust the fan curve for your graphics card. Okay. So we got our on-screen overlay sorted. And so let's run some gaming benchmarks. So we'll run Heaven here, high, no anti-aliasing. So this number here below RAM is how many frames per second it's currently running at. Alrighty. So that was Heaven there. There's around 400 frames a second constantly, pretty much. So the next one we do is called Valley. We do it on Ultra, Max Anti-Aliasing, which is like line smoothing. And this is also a more demanding benchmark inherently, so it will run at a lower frame per second than the previous. so that was Valley with ultra settings and max anti-aliasing. And finally is the 4K stress test, or benchmark I should say. Benchmark crashed. How high is high? Yeah, good question. Okay, so when it comes to your graphics card, you've got a few different metrics here that it will sometimes show you. If you've got your graphics card might just have GPU, it might not have memory and hotspot. But for our GPU, the temp limit that's set by the manufacturer is 83 degrees. So anything under 83 is good. The memory and the hotspot, they can go up to 100 degrees. Okay, so seeing memory or hotspot in the 80s or even sometimes in the 90s, that's not cause for concern. So I had one case where there was like an in-game like overlay that was coming up for someone in some game that someone was playing, and it was talking to the hotspot sensor instead of the GPU sensor, and it was saying the GPU's like 90 degrees and stuff like that while they're gaming, and it's showing up as like in like red, as if it's like overheating and stuff. And then they give it back to me, and I'm like, it's not overheating at all. And then I worked out that yeah, it was just the hotspot. So yeah, that's not a problem at all. That can get up quite high. As you can see, it got to 80 degrees there. That's fine. That's still 20 degrees under limit. So all well going good. All right. So we are on to the final part of our night now. Alrighty. And let's put our CPU to work. Okay. So we just let it run for 90 minutes, and we just log all the temperatures and stuff like that in the background. So 12700 KF gets pretty hot when we do put it to work. So if you are going to be doing like video editing or anything that's like real anything other than gaming that's CPU intensive, you might get better performance out of it if you use the Intel XTU app to limit the amount of power that gets drawn through it. That's the easiest way to tame the 12th gen chips, because like I said, they're like overclocked straight out of the box. It's like you don't even have to do anything. It's gonna be overclocked. But yes, this is where it gets pretty boring. This is the boring part of the night where we just let it run, and I just check in on it periodically, make sure it's not catching fire. No, it won't catch fire, don't worry. Alrighty, well, if there's no one else who has any other final questions for me, I'm pretty much ready for bed, to be honest. Have some dinner, and yeah, wind down and bedtime. What a day. What a fucking day.
Woke up this morning and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a chill day. End up having a dog at the end of the day.
Holy shit. Oh well, I think that's just about it, babe. If there's anyone else who's got any other final comments for me.
Says thanks, Sam, appreciate it.
No worries. All good? Oh, I think that's pretty much it. So, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.